democracy. You know, that thing that the Trump supporters don't like. Today, we're going to be talking about the debate on democracy. In this video, we're going to be traveling across this spectrum from least to most democratic and going over different conceptions and systems on the idea of democracy. However, I can already feel your boredom through the screen, and don't worry, I'm already a little bit bored myself. So I will be exploring the incredibly rich political philosophy of democracy through alcohol. You can see here I have a lot of different liquors and alcohols that I have stolen from my parents. So just bear with me on this, right? I'm going to be explaining democratic theory through alcohol. So we all know what democracy is. The definition I found on Google is just a method of collective political decision-making characterized by equality among participants in some essential stage of the decision-making process. So basically a system in which there is some equality in decision-making by the participants within a system. So if democracy was a cocktail, it would be one where each component of the drink is equally valued in the creation of the final product. This is very simply going to be an Aperol Spritz. So now, if those of you who have seen my champagne socialism video, you'll have seen that I struggled a little bit last time to open a bottle of Prosecco and or champagne. Comment down below how long you think it's going to take me to open this bottle. I will reveal at the end the total time. Hey, almost instantly. I'm sick. So, like democracy, every single component of this drink is equal. It is 1 part Aperol, it is 1 part Prosecco, and finally, 1 part soda water, creating a cocktail where each individual ingredient is equally valued. Here we have democracy as a cocktail. Simple and delicious. Oh, that's good. So let's move on now from our basic democratic definition, i.e. an equal parts cocktail, Aperol Spritz. Let's start building our spectrum of democracy here, from least democratic to most democratic. We're going to start off with a dictatorship. So a dictatorship is an authoritarian government with extremely concentrated power, basically in the hands of a single individual. So in terms of a cocktail, a dictator cocktail would be if I were to have one arbitrarily chosen person who tells me what drink I'm making, tells me what and how I'm allowed to do it, and ultimately takes all the spoils for themselves. So this is going to be represented by my mum. I'm just going to call her and I'm going to ask her what drink she wants. Mum,
Yes?
Mum,
Yes.
what kind of cocktail do you want?
Ooh,
2,000 years later.
an Aperol Spritz?
An Aperol Spritz. Perfect, I can do that. I've had practice. Right, it'll be with you in a second, almighty emperor.
Lovely, thanks.
Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.
So then, to represent this dictatorship, I'm making my mum the drink that she very much demanded, this being another Aperol Spritz, so I'll try and be quick with this. You already know what's going on. A surprisingly democratic drink for a dictator here, but no big problem. Bada bing, bada bap, bada bap boom. Pow, there we go. So whilst I've made a pretty cool looking cocktail, I have had pretty much no benefits from it, and it's going to be going entirely to a disconnected, terrifying tyrant emperor who runs this household / nation. So, hope my mum enjoys it. And boom, that was a dictatorship. You know, I may have made a good drink, but it's only really for the benefit of one individual person. So, next up, we got oligarchy. But before we move on to our next system, first of all, I'm going to have a quick drink. Also, you should subscribe. As you can see on the screen here, basically no one who watches these videos is subscribed. So if you want to support me and my political alcoholism, please subscribe. And yeah, if you just want to see me get drunk and talk about politics, this is the place to be. So yeah, moving on. Next up, we have the idea of oligarchy. Oligarchy is a political system governed by a few highly powerful elites. So it is rather similar to a dictatorship. However, it's more about balancing different highly powerful interest groups rather than just one sole powerful person. So this cocktail is basically governed by whoever has the most money. So I'm going to be making a gin and tonic, and I've Googled how expensive each component of this drink I'm going to be making is. So what have I got here? I have number 1, Pinkster gin that I stole from my parents, around about 30 something pound a bottle. Fine. Next up, I have tonic water. It's around about £1.50 per can from Amazon. And I'm also using some of these gin rocks. It's just ice, basically. They're rocks that stay cold for ice. So these are individually about 20p each because you get so many of them. So essentially what this means is the Pinkster gin has the most money, so it's going to be the largest component of this drink. So it's basically going to be a very ginny gin and tonic. Going to be way more gin than I think you would normally put in one. And then, see, the Fever Tree can, you know, it's pretty poor. It's your average proletariat. It's your average person. You're not really donating anything to the, you know, the people in charge. There isn't much, you know, power of these people. Basically like your medieval people back in the day. So not too much there. Only a little bit, really. Right here, right at the bottom of society, we have the oppressed class, these being the gin rocks. Normally I put a whole bag in one drink because, you know, I want it to be cold. However, you're only getting two because simply they are not represented. So as you can see here in the drink, what's most represented is what has the most money. So the gin is the most expensive, so it is what is mostly in this drink. Boom. This is the oligarchical gin and tonic. Cheers. Oh dear God. And if that shows anything, money is not a good way to run politics. Screw oligarchy, it's trash. Right, I'm putting that to one side. Oh my God, that was horrible. Oh, you ever just drank straight gin with not straight warm gin because it only has 2 ice rocks in it? Let's move on now to a bit of a weird one, a bit of a wacky one, as we like to say in this channel. Plural voting. So plural voting is a concept from John Stuart Mill, and it's the idea that everyone does have a vote, everyone can vote, but different people have more votes or votes which are more valuable than others. So, for example, under this conception, someone with higher education would have 3 votes, where someone without it would only have 1. Or, you know, I don't know, being a landowner gives you more, being married gives you more. And the idea was that this would sort of make sure that the right people have more say in what's going on. So, this means for a cocktail, different components that I like will be given more value because I deem them more valuable, so they'll have more say in the decision-making process of this drink. So, I'm going to be making a chocolate Russian. So, normally, a chocolate Russian is made up of 1 part vodka, 1 part coffee liqueur, which I have here, and the rest with just chocolate milk. However, due to my different valuation system of what matters, I think that the coffee liqueur, which I have right here, has way more value within this drink. So that will be 3 parts, the vodka will be 1, and the rest will be the chocolate milk that we were talking about earlier. So let's do this. So rather than just being the 1 part that it normally would be, there we go, that's a lot, that's about half of this mini bottle. And then next up, since I consider coffee liqueur to be more valuable and a better member of society, it has more of a say. So the vodka, despite should be being 3, what I'm making is only going to be 1. I started putting things in the drink, but I remember that's not what I'm supposed to do, so I'm just gonna throw that in there. So what we have in here is 3 portions of the coffee liqueur and 1 portion of the vodka. Whilst it should normally always be equal, like we had at the start here with this drink, this is no longer the case. And now to add the final component here, your general electorate, boom, your chocolate milk, which I made earlier. And now for the fun part, cocktail shaking ASMR. Call me Tom Cruise, baby. Am I doing this right? Last time I had champagne, people telling me how to open the bottle, so let's see if this works. Oh. Oh. That looks pretty good. That actually looks really nice. Right then. This is the drink made from Plural Voting. It looks a bit weird, actually. So what we have in this glass right now, despite it originally being equal parts, so 1 part vodka, 1 part coffee liqueur, and the rest chocolate milk, since in this sense, the coffee liqueur has more voting value in this Plural Voting system, there's more of it in the drink. So let's try it. Oh, that's delicious. They're not really supposed to end up being so good, but this is really nice. That's so good. That's so good. Whilst this is certainly to my liking, and it very much is, it came out a lot better than I was expecting. And it is in my best interest as someone who favors this weighting value, as someone who likes coffee liqueur, having it be more valuable is better for myself. Many others won't be represented by this drink. There are many people who will think that vodka is more valuable, or that chocolate milk is more valuable, or that, you know, none of them should be valued at all. Many others won't be represented by this drink. So, is it really the best way to represent a society? Difficult to tell. It's so good. That is so good. I'm pouring the rest in. I'm doing it. Might as well finish it. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom. Now onto the democratic system that I, as a British person, live under. Representative democracy. So representative democracies are ones where, rather than voting for issues directly, you vote for candidates who then represent you in governance and political decisions. So in the UK, it's I vote for an MP and they make my decisions. In the US, it's you vote for a congressperson and they make the decisions. So this is basically like if I get to choose who makes me a cocktail, and I give them a general direction of what I would like the final product to be. However, ultimately, I give them the final decision over what is going to be made. And I'm going to do this by asking my dad to please come in here and make me a cocktail. So, 1 second. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes me a non-alcoholic one, considering I've kind of been... This is tasting good. Oh, it's so good. Why is that so good? Okay, Dad. Hello. You've been voted by the people. You're my MP for wherever we're going. Just come over here. What are you making?
I'm going to make a white Negroni. So
Okay.
Not the classic one. I'm going to make it with this French stuff, Suze.
Okay.
Right, have you got any gin?
Yes,
Give
that's it.
us the Japanese gin.
There's the Japanese gin. Okay. Okay, cool.
And then-
Hold up to the people. There we are.
That's it.
That's where we are so far.
And it needs a bit of this.
What is that?
Triple sec.
Triple. Oh, Jesus.
You got anything to stir it with?
I've been doing the traditional methods, just this.
Oh, magic.
Okay, so this is what my elected representative has made. What's it called again?
White Negroni.
A white
But it's a bit more
Negroni.
yellow than white, isn't it?
It's a yellow
It's more like a
Negroni.
dog piss Negroni.
Alright. It's pretty good.
Right.
Strong. Oh. Thanks for coming. You'll get re-elected. Congrats. You did a great job.
Right.
So, that's what my dad made. Whilst that was undeniably nice and honestly pretty close to what I would actually have made for myself, I still ultimately don't have control over what I want to be drinking. Some may argue that this is actually a good thing. However, it really depends on how much you trust my ability to judge what is best for me in a cocktail. Personally, I trust people to choose good drinks, unless you're my girlfriend and you drink vodka and Baileys. Just that, straight in a glass with like a bit of ice. Just vodka, Baileys in a glass. I know. Anyway, so this moves us to our final stop on the democratic spectrum, this being direct democracy, a system in which all political decisions are, or at least a large portion of them, are decided directly by the people through, like a referendum, for example. So this is pretty simple. It's just where I make the cocktail that I want. Very easy. And for the record, this should pretty much always be a mojito, as apparently a mojito is the most popular cocktail in the world. But what if you don't like mojitos? Well, this is called the tyranny of the majority, and is a well-voiced critique of majoritarian directly democratic systems, in which everyone votes for something, and then everyone has to have that thing. Whilst if we only had mojitos, the most people would be happy if we were only going to be able to have one thing. There will be a minority which is discriminated against, those who don't like mojitos. What if you like, I don't know, a chocolate Russian? What if you want the chocolate Russian? Who's gonna fight for you? This can be avoided, to be fair, with say like a tiered voting system, but we won't go into that for now. That's a whole nother video. So let's just jump now beyond our spectrum to a few critiques of democracy. First one being what's called an epistocracy. It's kind of the same as a technocracy. An epistocracy is the idea that since political decisions are often extremely complex and confusing, and may even require specialized knowledge, it is only ethical to allow experts and people with said specialized knowledge to govern society. And this is in order to maximize outcomes. This was the position of Plato, who believed that since politics is a means to maximize societal outcomes and happiness, only those who know what that is can do this, i.e., in his case, philosophers. So yes, philosophers should be in charge in governing society. Got it? Cool. One conception of epistocracy is where only certain people will be able to vote, those who are deemed to be educated enough to do so. An idea of voting is more of a license that one gets, rather than a right for everyone to have. As a cocktail, however, this would be if I only have drinks advised to and made by experts. Which, unfortunately, as we've very much seen throughout this video, I very much am not. So, I've googled it. According to Banny Kang, the Diageo Bartender of the Year Award 2019, her main two cocktails, and apparently her favorites, are apparently one with, hold on, we have to read here, a banana enzyme and Palo Cortado sherry, with the second being with carrot juice and white vermouth. So, yeah, according to the experts, that's what we should be drinking. As I'm sure you can understand, I don't have that with me. So, yeah, drink those for epistocracy. And boom, next As for anarchism, i.e. just a stateless society, I don't know, just do it randomly. I'm drunk, who cares? So I think I've shown anarchism pretty well. Remember when I freestyled pretty much every drink I've made? Yeah, it's basically that. You're welcome. Looking back on what we've got here, generally my politics, I prefer more direct democracy. I trust people to make the decisions in their lives, and I think you can avoid the sort of tyranny of the majority issue we saw with the mojitos through different sort of systems. However, in terms of purely what drink I made, my favorite has been the chocolate Russian, and that was plural voting. So call me a John Stuart Mill fanboy. Only certain people should be able to vote? Maybe? No? Okay, whatever. I hope you've enjoyed this alcoholic journey through democracy. If you did like this, maybe give it a like, maybe subscribe, and make sure to comment down below where you see yourself on this democratic spectrum. I'm quite interested to see where my audience sort of lies. I imagine it's going to be more towards the direct like myself, but who knows? You know what? Make it 2 answers. Give me one for your actual opinion, and then one for your drink opinion. Which of the drinks you've seen tonight would you most like to try? Oh my god, this has been something. This has been something. Right. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Any sort of support would be great. We just hit 500 subscribers, so if we can get up to that 1,000, wow, that's a whole different ball game. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Need a bit of this. This is Sue's.
I've written in the script this has been an alcoholic journey through cocktails, but whilst it very much has been, it's been more of an alcoholic journey through democracy.